Hola every pony, mi llamo es Serena Erdpony and welcome back to the reading of The Family I Never Had. Last time we left off with two caseworkers taking Zim to an orphanage, where 2 days later he was adopted by a blind psychic named Christine Vandermellen. What's going to happen next? Let's find out. Chapter 4, The Vandermellen Mottos. The drive was awkward and silent. Neither Zim nor Christine knew what to say to each other. They were just basically keeping to themselves right now. Not even Gur or Minnie Moose knew what to say at this point. Christine finally decided to try and break the ice. I hope I'll turn out to be a good mom. I mean, I was a babysitter before, but that's not the same as being a mom, is it? I don't think so, Zim shook his head. Christine nodded before she looked back at the road. Zim found this completely amazing. This woman was blind, yet she could drive perfectly, and even went as far to actually look at the road when driving. So, Zim stammered, what do I call you? And what else is there that I should know about? Like, are there any rules I should know about, or anything? Well, for starters, you can either call me Mom or Mommy, or if you're not quite comfortable with that yet, you can just call me Christine. As for rules, I only have 2 rules, Christine nodded. Rule number 1, stay out of the basement, and rule number 2, stay out of the woods. Other than that, there's really no other rules. Why can't I go in either of them? Zim raised an eyebrow suspiciously. Because the woods are very dangerous and you could get hurt, Christine explained. And the basement is off limits because I'm working on a top secret case, and all my evidence is down there. A top secret case? Zim's eyes widened. Are you with the law? Oh, no, sweetie. I'm not with the law. I'm actually a journalist, Christine laughed. Journalist by day, psychic by night. Oh, so anything else I should know? Well, there are the Vandermellen mottos. The Vandermellen mottos? Mm-hmm. There are 6 of them, and each Vandermellen is expected to follow them. What are they? Zim raised an eyebrow. Well, the first motto is Vandermellens stick together. That means we're always there for each other. The second, Vandermellens are honest, meaning we never lie to each other. The third, Vandermellens face their fears. No matter how scared we are, we stand up to the thing we're afraid of. The fourth, Vandermellens protect each other. That's danger, embarrassment, anything you can think of. The fifth, Vandermellens never give up. If you try and you fail, you keep trying until you get it right. And then finally, Vandermellens love each other, no matter how different we are. Wow, Zim blinked. Those are actually some pretty good mottos. Mm-hmm, Christine nodded. And I hope you follow them. The mottos are really what makes you a Vandermellen. Zim nodded, understanding what the human was saying. Sometimes mottos are what makes a family. But Zim was not a part of this family, and he never will be. Once an Urkin invader, always an Urkin invader. Chapter 5, New Home. After a few more minutes of driving, Christine finally turned the car into a driveway completely secluded by orange and red maple trees. She pulled up to a house at the end and parked the car right in front of it. Welcome to your new home, Zim, she smiled as she pulled the key out of the ignition. Why don't you take a look? Zim shrugged before he opened the passenger door and got out, Gur and Minnie Moose following the action. When they were out of the vehicle, the 3 of them gasped in amazement. The house was absolutely gorgeous. It was a 2-story white house with a black roof, a porch with 2 big white pillars, and black window panes. Out in the front yard was a play area with 2 swings, a slide, and a sandbox. And then there was a pond with a dock and a big maple tree right next to it. Although, with the stump on its side, it was quite obvious that the tree was missing a branch, one that seemingly was supposed to be located right above the Urkin's head. And to make this house seem even more magical, it was located right in the very entrance of the forest. Wow, Zim breathed, completely entranced. Is it everything you hoped for? Christine smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder while holding his luggage. Christine, it's beautiful, the Urkin admitted. I've never seen a house so gorgeous." "I'm so glad you like it," Christine laughed. "And just wait until you see your room." "I get my own room?" "Of course, sweetie. This house has 4 bedrooms. Come on." Completely excited now, Zim followed Christine into the house, Gur and Minnie Moose tagging along. When he entered the house, he couldn't help but feel a presence of blessing. The inside was as gorgeous as the outside. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a family room, a kitchen, a dining room, a living room, and a basement, which, of course, Zim was forbidden to enter. Each big room had 2 wooden white doors that opened inward, with shiny brass handles. There was a fireplace with a big red brick chimney and black iron gate. Inside the fireplace burned a warming red and orange fire, perfect for this cold winter. "Wow, it's even more beautiful than I imagined," Zim gasped. "Are you ready to see your room?" Christine asked sweetly. "Oh, yes, please." Christine smiled and took Zim's hand, gently leading him up the white stairs with wooden railings. When they reached the 2nd floor, Christine pulled the disguised Erkin to a room at the end of the hall. The door was closed, holding the surprise inside. "Welcome to your new room, Zim," Christine smiled as she opened the door. When Zim looked into the room, he gasped. His room was a solid hot pink, with a red circular bed in dead center, a bedside table with a clock and lamp next to it. He had a desk with a laptop in the far left corner and a bookshelf on the right corner. There was a small toy box set next to the door, and in front of his bed was a tall black wardrobe. "Do you like it?" Zim blinked and turned to Christine, who was smiling at him with pride. The Erkin had absolutely no idea what to say. "I don't like it," he finally shook his head. "I love it!" Zim squealed, laughing as he jumped into the human's arms, the two sharing a big hug. Suddenly, Zim realized what he was doing and quickly let go of Christine. "I'm so glad you like it," she smiled. "Why don't you go ahead and unpack? I'll be downstairs making dinner. Are you allergic to anything?" "Meat and water, but that's about it," Zim answered. "I see," Christine nodded. "Aquagenic urticaria, and allergy to meat and poultry that still has yet to have a name to this day. Both very rare allergies. Don't worry, I know just what to do. You stay up here and start unpacking. I'll call you when it's ready." Zim nodded as Christine left the room, closing the door behind her. Zim sighed and placed his luggage on the bed, opening it as he started to unpack. As he unpacked his belongings, he couldn't help but wonder about what happened. What had caused him to hug the human like that? He was just caught up in the moment? Was he just a little too happy? It made him revolted with himself to actually touch a human like that at his own free will. Blah! Why did he do that? "You like the blind lady, don't you, master?" Gur smiled smugly. "What?" Zim frowned. "What are you talking about? Of course I don't like her. She's a filthy human. I'm a superior Erkin. I will rule over her one of these days." "Then why did you hug her?" the robot asked. "I was caught up in the moment, Gur. Nothing else," the alien hissed as he slammed the wardrobe closed, trying to relieve some of his anger and disgust. "Meep!" Minnie Moose giggled quietly. "I heard that, Minnie Moose." About an hour later, the 3 of them had finally finished unpacking and setting up Zim's new room. And just right on time, too. "Zim! Dinner time!" Christine called up the stairs. "Coming, Christine!" Zim called back as he went down the stairs to the dining room. When he entered the dining room, he gasped. Set on the table was a candlelit vegan dinner of fettuccine alfredo, vegetable stew, and fruit salad. "So, what do you think?" Christine smiled. "Not a morsel of meat in sight, and the stew was made with some of the purest water I had bottled in the fridge. Between you and me, I like my water clean and pure as well." "Oh, Christine, it's perfect," Zim smiled. "Well, go on then. Let's sit down and we'll say a prayer." "Okay." Despite about being confused about what a prayer actually is, Zim sat down at the table, Christine sitting right across from him. He watched with curiosity as the human held her hands together, bowed her head, and closed her eyes. The Erkin assumed that he should do this too, So he did, and that's when she started speaking. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this wonderful day today on earth. I thank you for keeping us safe day in and day out, 24/7. But most of all, I thank you for introducing me, the miracle that is Zim, and having me to be the one to adopt him. He is one of a kind, special in his own way, and I promise I will do my best to care for him, just as the Jews cared for Moses. Amen. Zim blushed when he heard Christine's words. Did she really think of him like that? Was he really unique and special to her? He was confused when he suddenly felt a fluttery feeling in the pit of his stomach. Maybe there was something wrong with his pack. He'll have to check it soon. After dinner, Christine heated up some of her pure water and poured it in the bathtub, allowing Zim to bathe in it. Afterwards, he put on his red pajamas and the family sat in the family room, watching the first season of Game of Thrones. It was an interesting show, even though some parts Christine made him close his eyes for. He absolutely adored those direwolves, found some common ground with the Stark kids, and even laughed at the relationship between Joffrey and Tyrion. His favorite characters so far were Tyrion, Jon, Arya, and Daenerys. Now, finished with the rise of the Mother of Dragons, Christine tucked Zim into bed. Good night, Zim, she smiled, giving him a kiss on the forehead. Tomorrow is a big day. Good night, Christine, Zim smiled back, not even caring about the human's disgusting show of affection. Christine smiled and left the room, turning out the light as she did so. She left the door open just a crack, so that a little bit of the hallway light could shine in. Zim yawned before rolling over, falling fast asleep. Chapter 6. Questioning himself. The next morning, Zim woke up to a pleasant smell coming from the kitchen. He sat up in his bed and stretched, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. His door suddenly opened, and Christine walked in. Oh, you're already up, she giggled. Good morning, Zim. Good morning, Christine, the Urchin yawned. Something smells incredibly pleasant. What is that? Why don't you get dressed and come see? With that, Christine closed the door, leaving a very curious Zim behind. What was that intriguing smell so good that the human wanted to keep it a secret? His curiosity intensified when he heard her speaking to herself. Don't be silly, Whisper, she chuckled. I'm sure he's going to absolutely love it. Huh, I guess all humans are crazy lunatics who talk to themselves. Right, guys? Zim asked his two robotic friends. Meet! Minnie Mouse agreed, while Gur just giggled insanely. But I do wonder what it is she has for me, the child pondered as he pulled on his original uniform. Shall we go see? Yeah! Gur shouted excitedly. Meep! Minnie Mouse followed suit. The three of them ran down the stairs into the dining room, just like last night. When they entered, they gasped. On the table was a breakfast of blueberry pancakes, poached eggs, strawberries, and a glass of milk. Breakfast before school, sweetie? Christine laughed as they approached. Oh, Christine, it looks wonderful, Zim admitted. Well, don't just stand there. Sit down and eat before it's time to go to school. Are we going to say a prayer again? Zim asked as they sat down. No, that's only during dinner, Christine told him, to which Zim smiled and started eating. I packed a lunch for you as well. I don't trust school lunches. You never know what they put in their food. The food doesn't look very edible anyway, Zim shrugged. But thank you. You're welcome, sweetie, Christine nodded before continuing. I'm going to be dropping you off at school, but I have to work late today, so you'll have to walk home after school. We only live about 3 blocks away. I should be home by the time you are. I just don't want you to wait on me for so long. That's okay, Christine. Thank you for telling me. Later in the morning, the Cadillac pulled up next to the school and Zim got out, ready for another week of torture with Miss Bitters and the Dib human. Bye, Zim. Have a good day at school, Christine called from the driver's side. Bye, Christine. See you when I get home, Zim called back as the kind human drove away. When she was finally out of sight, Zim approached the school. The bell hadn't rung yet, so pretty much everybody was still outside, including the Dibworm. Much to the alien's dismay, the said human took this moment to finally notice him, leaving his creepy sister Gaz behind. The human boy approached the Irken boy. "Hey, Zim," he greeted. "What do you want, Dibworm?" Zim hissed. "Nothing, just came to check up on you." Zim raised an eyebrow in confusion. Dib wanted to check up on him? This was not normal, especially for the human. "Okay, who are you, and what did you do with Dib?" He frowned. He would have never just wanted to check up on me. "I'm being serious, Zim," Dib sighed. "Look, I know about you being sent to the orphanage." "What?" Zim gasped before growling. "How could you know that? Spying again?" "Of course I was spying. Who do you take me for?" Dib frowned, earning another growl from the Irken. "Well, not anymore, Dib human. I was adopted just yesterday." "What?" Dib gasped. "You actually let yourself get adopted by a human?" "Of course I did, Dib. What choice did I have?" Zim rolled his eyes. "It's only normal for an orphan worm baby to be adopted. If I hadn't been all excited about it, I would have been found out." "Yeah, I guess that's true," Dib admitted. "So, who is it?" 20-year-old woman named Christine Vandermelon," Zim answered. "She's a journalist who wanted to be a single mom to his son, which turned out to be me." "Oh," Dib smiled. "And what's she like?" "Well, she's—" Zim blushed as he thought about the human that was supposed to be his mother. "She's beautiful, actually. Unique, too, considering she's blind. But she's also a psychic, so in a way her abilities are her eyes. But surprisingly enough, she can't tell that I'm an Irken. She's kind, too, and she's a wonderful cook. She was able to figure out how to make food without water and meat. Oh, by the way, Dib, did you know that some humans actually do have allergies to meat and water? Water allergies are called aquagenic urticaria, but the meat allergy still has yet to have a name. But some people do have it." "Yeah, I know." Dib blushed. "I looked it up. And she has a great taste in entertainment. We watched the first season of a show called Game of Thrones last night, though she did make me cover my eyes at some point." "Game of Thrones? I love that show," Dib laughed. "It's awesome. Who's your favorite character?" "Mine is Daenerys." "Foolish Dib human. It would be simply impossible for me to pick just one, so I have 4, Zim chuckled. "And they are Tyrion, Jon, Arya, and Daenerys." "I guess no one can resist the mother of dragons," Dib chuckled. "Not even an Irken invader." "How could I? It was so cool when she emerged from those flames with those 3 itty-bitty baby dragons perched on her shoulders. And to think that they were extinct before. I don't know about you, but I admire the Khaleesi very much. I hope she gets the throne in the end. So do I." The two shared a look with each other for a moment before bursting into a short fit of laughter, enjoying each other's company for the first time. Sometimes it helps when you can find common ground. "Oh well," Dib cleared his throat when he finally stopped laughing. "About this Christine woman." "What about her?" Zim challenged, as if daring the human to say something awful about her. "It seems to me that you have grown fond of her." "Eh?" Zim frowned. "I don't follow." "Oh, come on, Zim. It's obvious that you like her. Otherwise you wouldn't have described her the way you did." "Like her? Ha! Foolish human! Christine is nothing more than just another human on my hit list." "Then why aren't you adding an insult to her name, Mr. Arya Stark?" Dib smiled. "What?" Zim raised an eyebrow in confusion. "Oh, I guess you haven't gotten that far yet," Dib blushed, embarrassed about almost giving off a huge spoiler alert. "But anyways, I'm being serious. If you don't like Christine, then why aren't you adding an insult to her name?" "Because—" Zim started, but then stopped. Why wasn't he insulting Christine? He always insulted the human race, but not Christine. Could it be that he really does like her? "Because it's only been 1 day, Dib Stink, and she hasn't done anything to deserve the insults," he quickly answered. "In fact, she's done the absolute opposite. She has worked hard to take care of me and keep me happy despite her handicap. In fact, I'm thinking about letting her rule beside me." "That's if you ever tell her that you are not normal," Dib challenged. "Face it, Zim, that's never going to happen, because deep down inside you know you love her, and you're afraid to lose her if she ever finds out that you're an alien. You lie! Whatever, Zim. Hope you enjoy life as a Vanamelon. Who knows, this might actually change your mind about Earth. With that, the bell rang, starting the school day. Dib turned around and left the Irken, heading into the building, leaving Zim to question about himself. Why do you think Zim isn't insulting Christine? Is it possible that he actually likes her? Find out in the next episode.